we see the two young offspring with the mother wolf sitting in the home. As day passed, you realize how boring the idle animation is because they don't feed, they don't leave, they don't do bloody anything.
Yeah, I don't know if they need to eat. That's a good question. Thank you, Dagda. Wow.
That was the sweet, sultry voice of David Dagda Butter.
Thank you.
That was incredible, Dagda.
That was beautiful.
If we need an
I am fully red in the face now.
Yeah, we kind of bullied you into
yeah.
it. People don't
Toss
have
me under the
context,
bus.
but basically our producer was like, we have a 9-day cycle clip of the wolves.
You guys said one funny thing about a wolf, and now we're going to attach to that.
No. Well, I mean, we're pretty attached to it. And they're like, Dagda, you're participating.
It's like toss the new guy under the bus immediately.
Yeah.
Hey, you ain't the new guy anymore. We're 6 weeks in, Doug. It's the finals weekend.
It's the finals.
Woo! We're getting ready for game 2 of KOI versus Mad. So that means it's time to drop a beat.
So does this mean if we get to game 3, I can bully you two into rapping over that beat? Is
Oh,
that
yeah.
how this
Hell
works?
yeah.
We get,
Hell yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
get
you
back
can totally do that.
He's a freestyle king. You haven't heard this yet, but he's incredible.
Oh, yeah. Let's pray we don't get to a game 3. Caitlyn going to be taken off the board by Mad Lions. Elise actually banned away by KOI, which, of course, does make a lot of sense. That does mean Maokai, Ashe kind of have to be banned by KOI based on what we've been seeing from red sides typically, but will KOI break the meta?
They break the rules. And that's one of the big things about Red Side, and the question that we're going to be asking of just about every team this weekend is how will you shake it up? How will you find wins on Red Side? We've seen it can be much, much more difficult in the draft phase, and draft has been pretty crucial. But with Elise off the table, at least they'll get a little bit something different in the jungle in this particular matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the downside about winning on red side is that you then have to play red side again. So that's, you know, where you got to figure it out. But I think for Mad Lions, I think going for something that's got a little bit more push in the mid lane is going to be so much more important. Like, realistically, Nisqy was such a massive part of the early game yesterday, and being able to help out side lanes, even in matchups where he really shouldn't have got the roam, but he never got a chance against Larssen this game, so giving him that opportunity will be really important.
Yeah, and I really would like to see Nisqy put on a more proactive champion. Yasuo obviously can do a lot if he snowballs ahead, but is a little bit reliant on the Gragas in the context of pro play to really get the ball rolling there, especially in Tristana. So see what Mad Lions want to set him up with this time around. For now, the Vi first pick, making a lot of sense when the remaining top-tier junglers have been banned away. So Malrang going to kind of be pushed down to tier 2 options here. Could also leave his pick till later in the draft if they want to lock in something like Lucian Nami, everybody's favorite bottom lane.
Let's see. What will you can see a lot of discussion going on right now. The Varus seems to be the blind choice coming out from KOI. You know, I think the more that we see Varus, I feel like that the sentiment is slowly starting to shift away in that, like, hey, maybe better scaling, higher DPS, Sivir things, really good. Like Zeri Lulu, we saw SK being an incredibly effective bot lane.
100%.
And that's why I actually really like the Vi pickup first here for Mad Lions, because, you know, Zeri locked down for Vi, Lucian locked down by Vi. Even if you want to go for something like an Ezreal, you still got a lot of control there. So nice pickup for Mad Lions, it feels like in the beginning. Also, Trymbi's just been pretty often opting into these AD carries and support. So maybe he has the Varus in his back pocket alongside things like the Kalista and the Ashe we've seen, but yet to be figured out now as we swap back over to Mad Lions. Imagine AD carry and support going to be the top picks here.
Would make a lot of sense. For now, though, they're just hovering a lot of Rammus. Looking for that strong pick. Ooh, instantly Jayce gonna get locked in. This is, of course, a flex in the hands of the Mad Lions. Locking in Gragas, however, would take away that flex potential and lead us to at least assuming that Chasy is going to be the one to play, as Gragas is also a top laner. This is a strength that Mad Lions have, since they've shown the Gragas flex pick, is that they can do a lot with these 3 champions.
I think Szygenda should consider just locking in something for top lane right now. Of course, the problem is that the mid pool will then get pinched if you then choose to lock in something for top, and alternatively, if you lock in something for mid, the top lane can then be pinched as well. So Mad, by prioritizing the top side of the map, can actually have a lot of flexibility in terms of how they can limit KOI's options when it comes to matching. And
one of the things that we've seen from Szygenda as the split's gone on is that he's tended more towards things like the Gnar and the K'Sante, right? Because his split pushing hasn't really worked out. KOI don't feel comfortable in supporting him to play those styles. So now that you got the opportunity to try and take away some of those big tanky top laners, don't really want to go for the Gnar because Jayce can just be swapped into it. Now you're going to be getting rid of the Sion. It feels like, at least for the moment, if you get rid of the K'Sante as well for Mad Lions, you're in a pretty good spot here with the flexibility you have in both those solo lanes.
Yeah, I very much agree. I think Mad looking like a topside focused game. I'm surprised that KOI would actually choose to get rid of the Xayah here. Yeah. My instinct is that Mad is looking at something like a Sivir Karma bot side. Very safe, good wave clear, very reliable in terms of its scaling as well. But perhaps they recognize that it will be a topside focus, and that means that KOI have the option to cross map, and Xayah would be a very difficult champion to dive on the bot side of the map.
Champion we've also seen a lot over in like the LPL and a little bit in the LCK, something like a Jhin as well. If you're happy to just play weak side, cool. You got a lot of long range here that you can play through and just actually try and set up your team for success rather than trying to be that big DPS. But Szygenda still going back towards those tanks with the Ornn locked in. Really strong front to back team fight here for KOI right now.
You can also see that the goal behind this is to make it harder for Mad Lions to actually dive and play through top. Yep. The problem with an Ornn is that he has a lot of durability, he has a lot of CC, and especially once he hit level 6, he just becomes that much harder to dive. So it basically limits Mad Lions' playmaking ability through the top side of the map.
Ooh, Aphelios Thresh here. So a lane with a lot of safety, courtesy of the Lantern from Thresh, as well as a lot of scaling potential, looking to match some of what the Ornn is bringing to the table on the opposite side for KOI.
Wouldn't surprise me to just see a Nautilus response here from KOI, though. We haven't seen a huge number of melee champions from Trymbi, but he literally played Leona last game, so he's definitely no stranger to them. And we know that Nautilus is a very comfortable pick, both alongside Varus and into the Thresh. He's hovering the Blitzcrank right now, but it would surprise me if he did go that direction. Instead, going to continue with the range and wants a little bit more push and threat, because he feels like that with Ornn and Wukong, he already has enough engage, so why not have a little bit more utility and, well, scaling on the side of the bot.
I think also when you look at the Vi and the Gragas, even the Aphelios, incredibly short-range champion, so the fact you can probably set up a lot of these turrets and have Mad Lions try and play into that can work out very effectively, especially if you can get some sort of early lead, so you can set up early round objectives, get your vision control down, and just make it really, really difficult for Mad Lions to try and get into your face every time they step up, especially with an Ornn ultimate to just slam into what's a very squishy lineup here for Mad Lions.
And similarly, when you have a Heimer who can lay down turrets, who can get an early Rylai's, if Vi is not ulting the Heimer, it is so easy for everyone else on the team to just immediately shut down that pick. With the Heimer there, with the slows coming in, it is hard to follow up on a Vi when you are going to get hit and slowed every step you try to take into that enemy backline. But two very different drafts this time around. A lot more explosive bot lane on the side of KOI. Mad Lions trying their hand at something that we haven't seen in a while in the form of the Aphelios Thresh. Was incredibly powerful last time we saw it in the meta, but could be a bit of a risk here if they fall behind again in the early game.
But remember that KOI is not going to be surprised by this draft from Mad Lions. We saw these champions from them yesterday. They have a clear game plan in terms of how to deal with it. And Larssen, after his strong game 1 performance, getting his hands on the Sylas once more. KOI already find themselves 1 game up in this best of 5, and they're looking to make it 2. We're about to jump into the Rift, so let's get into it.
And again, will we see a full-on 5v5 level 1?
9.
No. But we'll see a fight for bot lane brush control, as you often do with champions like Heimerdinger, like Zyra, however many years ago that champion was in meta. So a lot about getting control, laying down the seeds, or in this case, the towers, just to make sure you can get that push early on. It's going to be a difficult early lane for Carzzy and Hylissang. Cleanse, great, but not a combat sum. Not going to offer you that extra power. Luckily for them, comp is matching it on the opposite side.
I think we're going to have a lot of...
Szygenda.
Oh, no.
Szygenda, TFT silver, but right now just getting knocked down as he flashes the emo to flash out to safety. Are they willing to trade summoners for this?
Chasy will chase this.
Living up to his name thus far. Is he gonna,
okay, he's decided if he flashed autoed, he wouldn't have had enough damage.
Flash over from Hylissang. The body slam will not connect. He's burning Ignite immediately. Now, the minions are coming in already, so this is going to be a little bit difficult. That health trade is going to stick in the favor of Mad Lions, but that is a lot of sums given up for functionally very little on the opposite side.
And you even get Szygenda now immediately TP into the top side, so he should be able to push this wave as Chasy starts to make his way up. But I would give Nisqy good control over mid lane, and I feel like they're just trying to punish Larssen as heavily as possible right now. 100% win rate on this Sylas pick, and 19 KDA over Winter as well. You definitely do not want Larssen getting oh my God.
We didn't know about that one.
Know about that, Graf.
Okay, well played, production. But that's not a celebration. I thought we agreed we weren't celebrating that. We're on...
They put a party hat on him.
That's not great.
Oh,
PETA's
no.
not going to love that. I'm just going to be honest.
But yeah, Malrang will be doing a full topside clear. Perhaps on red side, it's Raptors that he leaves alive. We'll have to keep track. Let's have a look at this, because we can see a heavy push on the bot side, 2 versus 2 for Comp and Trymbi. Once again, getting that early advantage, thanks to the wave clear from both the Varus and the Heimerdinger. But this time around, Elyoya is hovering and covering for a potential gank.
Yeah, I do like the Comp and Trymbi are
Big
passionate
stun.
say. Oh, hang on, yeah.
Hylissang, remember, no summoner spells whatsoever, so just easy for Trymbi to get that level 2 and line that up. Excellent grenade.
Yeah, nice job from Comp and Trymbi to crash second wave, though, because oftentimes it is, clear 2 camps and immediately try and go for a play on the bottom side, but with the opportunity to crash second wave, it makes it a little bit more difficult for junglers to get in early and actually affect this wave. But now that you got Hilly very low, Comp and Trymbi should have full control over that bot side.
Malrang going to get spotted out here by Elyoya. Elyoya waiting to reveal himself. Timing is going to be big here. Both junglers going to spot each other. Or not, maybe. Elyoya waiting in the darkness, playing on the edge of vision there as Malrang now has to run for the hills. Elyoya is going to flash follow here. W comes out from Malrang. Elyoya will not burn a sum to follow. Can instead turn his attention back to the Raptors as Nisqy looking for the solo bolo under tower, but Larssen quick on the trigger there, has the W, has the healing. Nisqy now going for the belly bot forward. Larssen desperately trying to get out of this one, and they're going to get it on the edge of madness between 2 towers, but Mad Lions will find first blood.
Larssen couldn't get the flash away from Elyoya coming in and does end up giving across that kill now. Elyoya getting good control of this early stages, and we said one of the things that helps KOI fall behind is when their mid jungle is not working together, and right now it's a bit of a disaster.
Really good start from Elyoya. His early pathing, he was actually looking to try and set up an invade onto Malrang's red. Recognizing that the red had already been secured, he instead ends up just forces Malrang out of his jungle, which means that Nisqy has the information and the ability to threaten Larssen underneath the tower. I was just so surprised at how low Larssen was. He was basically out of mana, which meant that even though he traded back onto Nisqy pretty well, there's very little he could do to stop the dive from Elyoya. Mid lane dive, very early on, not something we often see. Man, make it work. Now Malrang in a bit of danger.
Enemy territory here. Does he have the W up and available? Is it going to be enough? The the Vault Breaker now waiting as long as possible to flash. Needs to flash out to safety now. He's going to dash to the creep wave. Well played by him overall. Nisqy going to flash in, looking for the barrel, looking for the finish. Gets the fade away on the kill. Dominant early game here from the Mad Lions.
And you can see that the idea from Malrang is to try and get a little bit of XP back. Hilly
Nice
looking
side
for
step
the
from
hook.
Larssen, but Ignite is ticking. So much damage. Are they going to be able to follow this one up? Larssen flashing out to safety, but again, just these incremental advantages stacking up for Mad Lions.
Nisqy's auto attack was cancelled thanks to the flash from Larssen at the last second. Talk about holding it until the last possible moment. The problem for Mad's bot side of the map is with Hilly roaming, it means the Comp and Trymbi can look to dominate the isolated AD carry in Carzzy. Elyoya now here to offer some assistance, but what assistance can he really offer against this Heimerdinger? 2 plates should be secured now by Comp and Trymbi, as massive damage is done in the 2v2.
I mean, 5 minutes in as well. That's insane to already have 2 of these plates. 500 gold lead, but Nisqy still hovering mid. Malrang is behind, but only level 3.
Just body slamming into the Wukong, unconcerned. Red buff ticking as well. Larssen now going to look for the follow-up. Nisqy going to be in trouble. Nisqy taken out, overconfident in the mid lane.
And Malrang doing a great job of just skipping camps and looking for a gank in mid lane. Nisqy wasn't expecting it. Larssen, a much-needed relief of the pressure that was being thrown down onto him. Multiple ganks, multiple trades going in favor of Nisqy, but now Larssen gets a little bit back. He gets that shut down. He will get a red buff, and he finally secures himself level 6.
And the fact that you actually have some control now over the mid jungle is going to be pretty crucial as well. They need to make sure that Larssen's going to be in an okay position, because Comp and Trymbi are doing their job, right? They're going to be totally fine.
Yep.
But you want to make sure that Nisqy isn't getting down here to try and turn that fact around. So getting that early kill, making sure Larssen has something back is going to be crucial here.
Remember, the game plan from Mad Lions, at least when we've seen them at their strongest, is unlocking Nisqy on the map, right? And a lot of this early pressure was the goal of this. Force Larssen back. Nisqy can then look for a roam top, maybe look for a roam bot, exactly as you were talking about. But specifically with this Jayce, yesterday what we saw was Nisqy stealing away enemy TP, TPing to the top tower, and then doing a 3-man dive onto Irrelevant just to try and get Chasy ahead when he's on this pick. And so far, man, haven't been able to unlock him on the map. It's only going to get harder now that Szygenda is also level 6 and has the spellbook, so can potentially convert that into an ignite as well, or barrier, or heal, or all sorts of things to basically make that dive even harder.
Carzzy stepping up, looking for a bit of a trade here on the bottom side. But I think it is just so good to highlight Nisqy. We saw Larssen dominate in the previous game, but generally look at Mad. We talk about the mid-jungle, specifically as their strongest point in Nisqy this season. We've quoted him a million times, so I won't do it again, but individual performance has been big. But Mad Lions in their drafts haven't always been giving him tools like the Zoe that you highlighted that can steal these teleports, that can make these big solo plays. Gragas, now more of a playmaker, yes, but not the big carry for damage threat-wise, at least early in the game.
And I think it's been really interesting to see that shift where they are putting him on things like the Gragas and taking a step back. Hilly, taking a lot of damage, should be able to walk away. But I think it's been really interesting to see how Nisqy's been able to, regardless of matchups in a lot of situations, get those opportunities to roam. So like we saw yesterday at the Cassin, where he was still having an impact on side lanes, shut down on the Yasuo in the last game. But this feels like Nisqy again going to be seeing if he can have that impact that we saw yesterday against SK.
Larssen doing what he can. Recognize the wave clear from the Gragas is annoying, and that Nisqy's always going to be first to move, but look, instantly investing his mana to get that wave clear down. And then Nisqy's just going to move into fog. Always that threat of the unknown is something that professional players will always respect. But considering what was a fantastic start for Mad Lions, KOI have done a great job of coming back, largely off the back of their bot lane 2 versus 2, but after finding that one pick in mid lane, the gold now finds itself pretty much dead even.
I'm keeping my eyes on Malrang though. Once you hear the scream of this dragon going down, you have the opportunity to potentially look for a play on towards top side. Ultimate for Szygenda, Chasy low underneath tower could be an opportunity to try and make something happen, but Nisqy again hovering top side, making sure that Malrang can't make any sort of play happen.
And this is just such a problem for the side of KOI that Nisqy is able to so consistently sustain mid lane pressure, because you're right, normally if it's a matched push in mid lane, there is a play to be made topside, but now the play to be made on the bottom side as Hylissang gets caught out from over the wall. The ult manages to connect. Carzzy, a lot of chakrams stacked up, but he cannot take that fight. It's Szygenda and Chasy now going toe-to-toe. Chasy needs to sidestep this Ornn ultimate, flashing out to safety. Getting taken away for now. Will he fully commit to the all-in? Malrang waiting over the wall. Nisqy not able to come to this one. Chasy needs to be careful. Szygenda flash and ignite. He has the courtesy of the Summoner's Spellbook. Will back away. Tense 1v1 on the top side.
Yeah, you got a lot of members of Mad Lions starting to move up towards this top end, so Malrang and Szygenda will back away, but because Szygenda's low, they're going to be able to turn it over towards this Rift Herald, so getting both objectives on these early stages is exactly what Mad Lions did yesterday, and it should set them up beautifully now to try and keep going with this pressure, but they need to make sure they're turning around this opportunity on the bot side, because Comp and Trymbi are just running away with this turret on the bottom end.
Man brought out the Aphelios Thresh into this matchup. They only saw the Varus. They didn't have information on the Heimerdinger. But Trymbi bringing it out and having great success. It's Malrang.
Jayce going to be in trouble here. Hits the wrong monkey. That's going to feel bad. Malrang going to finish that one, but he's going to go down in the exchange. Ticking. Elyoya going to flash in the immediate follow-up. 1-for-1 on the back of that play.
Nicely done by Elyoya to get there, but unfortunate for Chasy, bashes the wrong monkey and ends up going down for it. This is where, again, Chasy being the target here. Once that flash goes down, I feel like we're going to get to see Malrang up here more and more, especially Szygenda halfway through in the cooldown for his ultimate. Another setup is going to be pretty easy to handle.
But this is a prime example of typical Malrang. Why would he be here, right? If you're a top laner, your expectation is that maybe Ornn is in this bush, but you're pretty sure he's just gone back to base. All of his bot side camps are up, and he's ganking you top lane. But it's these little things that Malrang does so well, and it now gives his top laner such a massive advantage. Szygenda just like, yeah, you weren't expecting that one, were you?
He's just watching. He's not participating in that whatsoever. He's just laughing his head off. And I mean, respectable from Malrang. Is able to take a little bit of gold away, and you can see for now Elyoya holding on to a pretty sizable lead, but he's really the only member of the top side for Mad Lions that has that kind of advantage, whereas bottom lane for KOI looking harder and harder, but Larssen now going to be in trouble, forced to flash to safety. Excellent knockback, but now a stolen Gragas cast means Larssen can at least try to get out of this one. Knockback coming in, Gragas cast going to push them back. Malrang, they're now split. Nisqy running to safety. Malrang no ultimate because of the previous play. Larssen has to be careful. Has the healing available, but needs to time it well.
Great patience there from Larssen. He recognized the amount of CC that was coming out from Mad, but he was able to navigate his way very well. Did, of course, lose his flash, but thanks to the arrival of Malrang, ended up trading it back onto Nisqy. So no flashes for either mid laner. Larssen very low, Elyoya still looking, but I don't think Mad can really convert this into anything.
Mad Lions, though, are on the top side converting this. The fact that Szygenda had already moved down, Chasy immediately pushes that wave and is now getting more plates. Elyoya spotting a ward in towards this bottom side, and KOI will just back away.
A lot of vision on this bot side of the map for KOI. You can see a 1,000 gold lead in favor of Comp and Trymbi. Doing very well in the 2 versus 2. Often what we're used to of the KOI of old from last year. This bot lane was always a menace to deal with. And Mad introducing a new bot lane seems to be finding no difference in terms of struggling when going up against this powerhouse bot lane.
Yeah, credit to Comp and Trymbi. Obviously, when we look back at their title win, they were a massive factor, and Comp just continues to be a player who is so consistent, who is so reliable. Now, the start of the season was difficult for these guys. They weren't able to find their footing, but as we've gone further and further into the season, into the split, they've looked better and better and better, and they're clearly coming into form now, and you can see the reason why they're always someone that you want to talk about when you bring up KOI.
And now that you got the Rileys completed for Trymbi as well, this is going to make this bot lane even more punishing, especially for Carzzy having that short range. Has the cleanse, at least we'll save him from a little bit, but you're looking to drag it in a minute's time, still having good push on bot lane here for KOI. They can start to move over towards that objective, and Malrang hovering mid here looking for Nisqy as well.
Nisqy still going to step forward, just going to try to clear the wave and back off.
Malrang knows that that control ward is there, so he can't just do a cheeky W over the wall into gank. Nisqy, if Larssen can interrupt his base here, that would be massive. Worth the single tower shot. Oh, and he's able to do it. Yeah, it's worth it, because now this is going to make it that bit harder for Carzzy.
One shot in the wave, immediate Heimer ult forced to flash away. That is so devastating for Carzzy.
That's fun.
Where does health bar go?
It's gone.
It's back in base, mate. He's going to go get it. Mad deciding to make the cross map happen. They realize that they can't contest this Drake right now. Instead, they'll just funnel more gold into Chasy, looking to make him the carry later on. Larssen now in danger once again.
Herald charge. Larssen now trying to back off. Stolen away. Thresh ultimate is not going to get knocked back, though. That is going to be crucial. Does he have enough healing? The Ignite is now taking Larssen. Healthy for now. Trymbi coming into the backside. Has the slows. Malrang there as well. Hylissang going to be in trouble. Elyoya in the area. But there is no fight here for the side of Mad. Malrang debating if he wants to go in. Doesn't want to flip it. Doesn't want to take the risk. But again, Larssen getting away from these 2v1 plays.
And Comp is on the bot side again, putting pressure there, so it's still KOI coming out on top, despite the fact that Larssen was the one that got engaged on. Dragon going to be started. Chasy has no TP to get down here, but may just try and run down as they see this started.
Through the Ignite, Larssen was able to just tank that whole thing up. Rod of Ages proving very effective once again. And Larssen just doing a great job of soaking up this pressure. And huge credit needs to be given once again to Malrang. That early mid lane matchup was not going well for Larssen. He was dived underneath his tower, he was constantly being bullied, but sometimes all mid laners need is that one single kill, a little bit of XP back in their pocket to be able to turn things around. And Larssen's done a great job so far. Neutralized, he actually found himself with the gold lead now. And this is putting KOI in a commanding position. Mad will be the ones to start off the Dragon. Let's see how KOI respond.
Malrang immediately coming over the wall, just trying to lock down Carzzy. Carzzy's so incredibly weak. He's got the shotgun, he's got the pullback coming in. Maybe, just maybe, they can burn through the objective. Elyoya waiting on the backside, his smite up and available. But slowly but surely, they are getting cut down. Huge damage from Comp, and Carzzy walks into the hail of arrows as they have to flash out to safety. A massive leash for KOI as they will take this objective.
It's a fun day at the amusement park for Comp there. Everyone's just sitting in the pit waiting for him to take pop shots. Chasy going to see if he can pop Szygenda to the top side as well, though.
Szygenda flashing out to safety. Exhaust up and available.
Chasy recognizes it as well. He will secure a tower at the very least for Mad. Elyoya with the ult.
Finding the ultimate. Nisqy, is he too far away to find the follow-up? Comp just walking away for now. No other options available to him. Does he have enough movement speed to back off? Elyoya strong enough. We'll get it. That's a solo kill. The power of 2-0 Vi. Now 3-0 for Elyoya.
Poor AD carries. It doesn't matter how strong you are. It's always a matter of junglers ruining your day. Elyoya finds that kill onto Comp. We'll get a little bit of gold back over to Mad after they have been bleeding these early game advantages. And this man in the bot lane is the man you need to shut down if Mad want to stand a chance of winning.
I love how desperate Nisqy was to get any sort of involvement in that play. Just toss everything to the kitchen sink, and it's still a solo kill for Elyoya. Moving over towards the Rift Herald, though, has the support of the rest of Mad Lions here as well. Carzzy going to stay on that bot side. They really want to get some gold into this AD carry, because you need 3 items realistically still onto this Aphelios before you're relevant. You want the Crackling Slayer, you want the Infinity Edge, so it's a long, steady climb here for Carzzy before he becomes really relevant here.
Yeah, difficult too, because Thresh is a champion that feels so good when you're ahead in the game, but when you're behind, just feels like a little bit of a lantern bot. See if Hylissang can find more impact in this game. However, the big problem for Mad Lions, yes, they've gotten so many objectives, even though they did lose that dragon. They got both heralds. Downside now, hold that thought. Carzzy's going to be in trouble. Red-white normally means don't fight when you're this far behind, though. I think they've got a pretty good angle into the bottom side. Malrang Gonna grab that kill.
Again, junglers ruining the lives of AD carries on the regular. Malrang, though, this time finds the kill onto Carzzy, the Lantern,
Pulling in, fishing for an angle, does just get locked up by Comp there on the back of that fight. Chasy's a big boy trying to find the angle in mid lane, will not get it. Mad Lions still desperate to push their gold lead ahead. It's a tight game right now as we have a bit of a pause coming out. Keep you guys updated as to what the issue is, but there's two things that I see is there's good news for both sides. Good news for Mad, Chasy can now leave his lane and impact. And he's, again, a very fed Jayce. Bad news for Mad, good news for KOI. Trymbi and Comp, both unlocked on the map. Varus, very fed. And it's
How many
both
Varus
Varus.
is that?
There was a lot of berries.
Oh,
It will get worse as they go on. Elyoya, the only one, maybe alongside Nisqy, who can tank a Varus Q and be like, okay, fine, you know, respectable damage. The Jayce gets hit by a Varus Q, that's a fight over. Inversely, the Varus gets hit by a Jayce Q, that's a fight over. So, a lot of poke.
Yeah, the problem is that you got two champions, though, that are doing really well on the side of KOI, with the Heimerdinger being involved as well. And especially when you've seen how willing Trymbi is to just roam around the map and make plays, this is where you got to be so careful of this Heimerdinger.
Gonna go a little bit wide. Szygenda fishing for an angle is gonna get Hylissang knocked up as well as Elyoya. Immediate knockback. Nisqy now focusing in the mid lane. Comp gonna get taken out there. Laser focused on this AD carry, but can they finish the job? It looks like they will. Lock down Comp. Malrang not there in time. That is massive for the Mad Lions, taking out the Fed member on the side of KOI.
So Mad will find themselves a pick. The gold remains even because Mad can't really convert this into any objectives. And you look at the Sylas in the bot lane. Larssen is continuing to farm, and he has his eyes on Carzzy.
Carzzy, a big Mad Lion-shaped cannon creep right now. Very far behind. Decent guns in the exchange. Does Larssen actually have the burst damage? It looks like no for now, so not really a play to be found here.
Larssen did also steal away Carzzy's ultimate earlier, which makes me believe that Larssen can't actually steal it just yet. Only has 2 points in the ultimate, so those cooldowns are still pretty long. Larssen, though, comfortably sitting in a side lane, picking up farm. Let's have a look back at this replay, though.
Yeah, I mean, I can get the idea here from KOI, move Szygenda in, try and set up the play properly, but you don't really get the engage coming through at the same time as Comp is set up to try and come in. Nisqy with a great flank here as well. Following up alongside the fight means the Comp completely separated. Malrang's not here for the place. Just quicker collapse here from Mad Lions sets them up beautifully.
Yeah, initially I actually thought it was Mad setting up that play. I was quite surprised to, in the replay, realize that it was KOI trying to force that fight, especially when Malrang wasn't really in a position to offer that collapse as well. So good response from Mad, as you rightly said. Fortunately for KOI, though, not too much lost on the back end.
I think the problem now for Mad is that KOI have kind of copped on to the fact that Larssen is just going to be able to continuously push into this side lane, and Carzzy doesn't really want to be set up in this mid lane because he's got so many different people that are just gunning for him in this mid lane. So as long as you can keep Larssen in check at side lanes, he's going to draw two people down, and it means Mad are going to be thin on the map. Immediately try to put down the Rift Herald and mid TP coming through from Nisqy as well. They really want to get this tower down.
Breaking open mid tier 1 would be pretty big. Here comes the charge. Thank you, Berlin. It's gonna be one tower taken out. Can't imagine it'll get a second. Malrang, Trymbi, and Comp in the area. Looks like it will. Ulti gonna go a little bit wide here, not able to lock down Nisqy, so Mad Lions using a lot of pressure in the mid lane. Meantime, obviously, Sylas getting a bit more free farm on the bottom side, but overall, exchange very much favoring the Mad Lions.
Yeah, you can see how Mad have created a 4-1 setup with Chasy constantly pushing in the top lane. Szygenda is struggling to hold the Jayce off at this point in the game. Jayce's damage is going to be, well, a lot.
Yeah.
So Mad just leveraging the fact that they can create a numbers advantage as Larssen is catching the bot wave. Oh,
TP back.
I think Szygenda thought that he was being collapsed on there.
Yeah.
If we can actually observe to see what KOI sees right now, you'll notice that KOI don't have a lot of vision in their topside jungle.
Nope.
So when he realized that, oh, hang on a second, no one from Mad is seen on the map and we don't have any vision, I think I'm getting collapsed on, so I'm just going to TP out to safety.
Also with 15 seconds until Dragon, they want to see if they can get that pick. Szygenda pops Ghost, see if he can get involved, but they have to back away.
Big thing right now, Chasy and Elyoya, the strongest members of their team. Need to see what they can get done in this team fight. Thus far, they've been able to take Comp out of the fight before it really even kicks off in the mid lane. But this time around, it's the full-on 5v5 here. Both sides present, and Trymbi's got set up first. He's got towers laid down. He's got the slows coming in. Comp can start to free fire. Mad Lions, if they want to go, they need to pull the trigger quickly for now. Settling for just hitting Szygenda off to the side. He still has the Ornn Horn up and available. Mad Lions, what's the angle? Shock blasting Larssen is not the ideal target. Dragon resetting.
That was Comp's ultimate that just went out, so that's no longer available in terms of CC for KOI. The Dragon is aggroing Mad, but they seem to be the healthier ones. Malrang looking for the flank.
Here comes the Ornn Horn. Right now, Malrang's been locked up, but immediately he goes onto the backside. It's a beautiful combo. Malrang spinning through Mad Lions. right now. The Stolen Vi ultimate doing so much work. Carzzy trying to heal up, but already the fight going in their favor. Comp gets taken down, though. Elyoya trying to be the difference maker for Mad Lions. Chasy there as well, but right now it is a 3v4 in favor of KOI. Blinking health bars, but neither side dropping quite yet. Szygenda going to be in trouble. Malrang going to be in trouble, but no, KOI holding on for dear life as Mad Lions are desperate to finish these kills.
Mad Lions did such a good job of playing it slow. Now they get to follow on through with the bigger health bars, and Dragon, it's already been started and it'll be finished by Mad Lions.
A team fight that looked to be won by KOI ends up having the Dragon go in favor of the Mad Lions, and a lot of it was because Chasy is still alive. This top lane carry is a real threat the longer these fights go on, and you can see how Mad's bot lane basically don't get to play the game. The ultimate from Szygenda, the flank from Malrang with a 3-man knockup, 4-man knockup even, and then this follow-up ultimate from Larssen onto Hylissang means that Carzzy, there's very few places that he can go to get to safety. The backline ends up falling as well, though, as Elyoya and Chasy are dealing good damage. And at this point, you realize, wait, Chasy is very healthy. Half our health bars are gone. And if we stay in this fight as KOI, we're going to lose. So we have to disengage. And he's not a person that we've talked a lot about, but Chasy is a real threat that KOI are going to have to find some way to shut down.
And it's really unfortunate there. Trymbi's minions keeping that Dragon aggroed meant that they weren't able to do much, but KOI caught out again.
Nisqy on the flank. Elyoya going to get things kicked off. They're trying to take combat before the play begins. They just delete him. The most fed member on the side of KOI taken off the rift. Szygenda. Another name on the list is the Mad Lions descend upon KOI. Baron potentially now in their sights as they look to cement a bigger advantage.
It's the bouncy castle comp from Mad, isn't it? You've got the Flay from Thresh, you've got the ultimate from Nisqy, you've got the ultimate from Elyoya. It's crazy how much displacement and chaos Mad can create in these team fights, and Comp didn't even get to use any of his summoners in that exchange.
I think a bouncy castle means you come back down, though. I don't think the Varus got to hit the ground before he was already gone. Now Chasy up towards Malrang in that top side, trying to make sure they can keep these waves pushed in and get as much as possible out of the barn that they just picked up.
So keep your eyes on Comp in this exchange. Elyoya with the ultimate first, then the Gragas ultimate next, and then Chasy with the slam down. There's just nothing that Comp can do. He didn't feel the need to waste the summoners. He knew he couldn't get out of there. But such a great collapse from Mad, and I think that's really the beauty of their composition and how ideally it's supposed to work. This three-pronged attack where you can create all this chaos in the team fights where KOI don't get to play their traditional front-to-back and leverage their range into the dive.
And I think that's why they're super happy to see this Infernal map, but Nisqy.
Knockback coming in. Larssen has stolen away the ultimate. They're looking to burn through Nisqy's health bar. Items are away. Not sure if he has a stopwatch. Not sure if he can buy another brief moment of time, but he manages to find the kill. He manages to find the shutdown. Chasy waiting over the wall. Trymbi gonna find the slows. Gonna find the initial setup. Now, Chasy holding onto the Thundering Blow for now. Elyoya still committing to the play. KOI walking away. So far, just a 1-for-1 jungler for mid.
I think Chasy actually got creep blocked by the blue buff in that last exchange. He was trying to help out his mid jungle. Couldn't actually get involved in the fight. The shock blast, though, was more than enough to be able to trade 1-for-1. Malrang being the person that ended up losing his life on the side of KOI, but you can see that Mad fully in the driver's seat right now. KOI, it felt like with the advantages that they gained in bot was more than enough to give them control over the game, but fight after fight, it's Mad that's coming out on top.
Trymbi going to be in trouble now as Elyoya goes in. The hook goes a little bit wide, though. That's going to be difficult. Elyoya now has to retreat. TP coming in. Lantern available there. Ward's going to block it off.
So
Good heads up play from the side of KOI to stop that, but Elyoya is still able to escape. Carzzy on the bottom side pushing for now uncontested. Perfect guns for a fight if KOI want to try and take one. Mad Lions moving in. Lots of chakram stacked as Szygenda just walks through the tower there, but Mad Lions looking to break down this bottom lane tier 2.
And they've got enough damage to do it as well. Carzzy does have the crescendos, should be able to take a bit of poke. Chasy's moved across the mid lane as well to try and draw members of KOI towards this mid lane tower that's very, very low at the moment. So KOI will clear out one wave. Now they've got to try and move back over to keep their mid lane alive, but I think that's already gone.
Chasy walking in. Malrang maybe looking for an angle, at least for now, posturing, threatening. Nisqy stepping forward. The looming threat of that explosive cask could just knock any member of KOI back to the waiting arms of the Mad Lions as they continue the siege, as they continue the pressure here. 43 seconds left on the Baron. 2 more waves the KOI need to survive. Right now they're looking to burn through Elyoya. That could be a massive shutdown, but they cannot quite finish the kill.
50 seconds until Dragon as well, so KOI will manage to keep their pressure away from this bot side, and now should be able to contest the Dragon. Resets coming through for Mad Lions. That's a lot of gold, though, that's going to have been picked up of that last couple of plays, so you already see Carzzy getting very close to that 3 items where he's now going to be able to take over for Comp, despite the fact he's got a 1,000 gold deficit as Nisqy.
Malrang trying to body block, but Nisqy's drunk.
Nisqy's
a big...
dancing on them
you
again.
can't do it to him.
You did it yesterday, Nisqy. Come on, man. You're still down a game, all right? You know, time and a place.
Gotta respect the confidence, though.
No, I do respect it. I'm enjoying this composition from Mad.
Gonna try to walk back into that blast cone, but what? How does that interaction work? Well, it works out for Elyoya pretty damn well. Trymbi, though, now they're trying to burn him back, and Elyoya, anything you can do, Larssen can do better. Dunked down, shut down for comp.
Trymbi just broke Elyoya's ankles, but Chasy wants a bit of revenge.
Larssen goes golden, that's gonna be big. Trymbi throwing down so much poke. Larssen getting caught up again, he needs to push W, but he doesn't get the chance. Shut down, no healing to come through. Bloodbath on the top side here, bottom side rather. Nisqy flashing in. I don't know if we can dance that one off.
I mean, still though, KOI pushed away. They do get the jungler killed, but Larssen goes down and they're gonna have to back away from the dragon regardless. KOI still gonna be trying to get away from this. Nisqy's really hunting for Malrang.
Nisqy is ignoring Szygenda and running at Malrang. He is just throwing skill shots with reckless abandon. He is whiffing like no man has ever whiffed before.
Look, he is really into the like the proper role play, just throwing everything
the same
anywhere.
thing.
He's just drunken fist here coming in from Nisqy.
It's all right, Nisqy. You know, happens to the best of us.
But I think that what we have to talk about is because as flashy as Elyoya and Nisqy have been, and they're definitely what we look at for catalysts for playmaking, as we look back at some of these exchanges.
Whoa, we got to talk about this, Drakos, because look at this.
Look at Trymbi.
So Trymbi looks like he's dead, okay? So he gets queued first, right? And then Elyoya's like, I'm not going to give him the chance to flash, knock him out. But it doesn't actually put him behind him. And then he gets knocked over by the blast cone. And then Trymbi flashes afterwards. And then the Varus ultimate actually CCs. Then the lantern, look, the turrets and the wards prevent him from going to safety.
No, so I think he's unstoppable in the vials, because you see unstoppable pop up as he gets up at the blast cone, but there's no room behind Trymbi, so it puts Elyoya on the opposite side of the wall. That's crazy. So the blast cone doesn't do anything as cool as it looks. It's just really awkward positioning from Elyoya.
And then Trymbi waddles away to the very next play. Now KOI gonna see if they can try and push away this mid lane. You're still looking at Mad trying to set up vision for this top side. Got good push from Nisqy, and this is where it gets a little bit dangerous. If Nisqy's able to keep control over top side, and he's actually TP'd down.
Chasy's powerful, but he's also a little bit squishy. Malrang trying to isolate him. Carzzy could be in trouble here. Malrang using both charges of the ultimate and getting very little done. Nisqy off to the side, trying to turn this fight back into his favor. And again, Mad Lions have found the edge. Mad Lions have found the advantage. It's Elyoya into the back line. Comp has no room to play. That big Heimer tower does not do enough damage. Trymbi trying to dance on him. Trymbi with unstoppable movement just refuses to die. Oh my God, Trymbi and Comp are still alive despite all odds. Mad Lions win the fight, but Comp and Trymbi playing with confidence.
Look, they're the only survivors of what was a one-team fight for Mad. All 5 members are alive. Elyoya creating devastation on the back line, and the damage from Chasy is ridiculous. We don't get to see that many great top-lane Jayce performances, but this champion seems to be perfect for Chasy in the top lane.
I was going to say, especially in the hands of Chasy, he's had brilliant performances every time he's brought out the Jayce thus far, and you can see it there. Massive CSD of 14. His damage per minute's nuts, and now Mad going to start to walk it over towards the farm.
Nisqy, I see you in the enemy jungle. I see he's I saw him doing a bit of dance there with Trymbi, but that will be the Baron secured for Mad. They're looking to equalize this series. Let's have a look back at this replay.
I mean, this was just a great barrel coming through from Nisqy. Shoves in top and then manages TP in. This is nice from Szygenda to try and set things up, has the rest of KOI in a relatively good position. But watch the barrel here from Nisqy. Immediately gets everyone on KOI backed away so they can deal with the front line nice and easily. Carzzy's in a great spot behind the wall. He's under no pressure at all. And Chasy is just tearing through folks. Larssen tries to get in here with that Gragas barrel to do much, but there's nothing really left to do at this stage.
Yeah, the fight felt very disjointed for KOI. Unfortunately, their backline just couldn't quite follow up on the Malrang flank, and what looked like a good start to the fight really couldn't be followed up in the way that they ideally wanted, and that chaos that Mad Lions comp is able to create meant that KOI ended up falling short. Now, Mad with the Baron once again, 8k gold the lead, and they're looking to break through into the base of KOI.
See if Mad Lions can finally open up the base. To this stage of the game, topside massively far ahead. Carzzy was once a liability. He was so far behind, but now he's at 3 items. Now he is powerful. He cannot afford to be ignored in these fights either. KOI, a very tall task ahead of them if they want to try to fight their way back into this game. Every single member of the Mad Lions right now is a massive damage threat for their backline.
setting up Nisqy in this mid wave as well means he's always able to threaten a flank if KOI try to over-index into this bottom side. So Nisqy doing a nice job of trying to keep up pressure here as the poke continues to rain down from Mad with Chasy, just taking free fire at anyone who's under the tower here for KOI.
Carzzy has the worst gun combo in the game, unless he's only got one purple left. Sorry. Aphelios player, by the way. Oh yeah, that sucks. That's absolutely awful. Luckily for him, he doesn't super matter, so not going to be important, but
onto
Nisqy
Nisqy.
going to be pulled. Szygenda finding the engage onto Nisqy. Looks like they're just going to try to burst through the Gragas. They are going to be able to get it done. Massive shutdown for the side of KOI. They need to keep this momentum going. Malrang on the flank could be everything. Stealing away the Vi ultimate, leaping into the backside, trying to take down this Jayce, and they will be able to find it. No, Carzzy still standing strong. Chasy standing strong. KOI do not have the damage, and now it is Mad's turn to fire back. Carzzy with the ultimate goes a little bit wide, will not find the targets for the re-engage. Elyoya stepping forward again, and Mad Lions lose one. At the end of the day, it is mid laner for mid laner as Mad Lions look to keep applying pressure.
Billy and Carzzy, they're looking for more. They still have the Baron buff, of course. 35 seconds left on the buff. And Mad Lions, I don't know how long they can keep this push going, and they're not going to. They know the Dragon's spawning in about 30 seconds. They want to get the recalls off. Nisqy's going to be up in time for that alongside his TP. So Mad Lions, well, the good news for KOI is that they were able to buy a little bit more time. They didn't end up losing any of the towers that protect their base. And while they will likely have to concede this Dragon, it will mean that the soul is very much likely going over to the Mad Lions. The TP comes through from Nisqy. Let's see if KOI can actually answer.
Trymbi might just get caught out here. Starting to walk through, Nisqy spots him, and the rest of Mad are about to collapse as well. You need to be so careful. Szygenda in behind.
Could be focused, but instead they're just going to turn the sights on Trymbi and just burn him down immediately from downtown. The cast manages to connect. Malrang getting out with the clone. May need to flash to safety here. Are they going to burn it? Malrang walking away, waiting as long as possible to burn that flash. Maybe he can just ult for the movement speed. Instead, trying to turn the fight. Doesn't want to use the flash. Instead, will just go down here as Nisqy is keeping the fight going. Elyoya as well. Carzzy on the backside. Keep your eyes on the Aphelios. The damage should be massive, but the exhaust is there to mitigate the impact. Szygenda trying to throw out the ultimate, but everybody is already dead. It is only Comp left to try to get anything done to do the damage necessary. Szygenda will get one in the exchange, but Mad Lions happy with that as they barrel down the bottom lane.
They're still waiting for that minion wave to conga line its way in, so they will just fall back to the Dragon. That is going to be Soul coming through for Mad, and when you already have Chasy this big on the Jayce, and you add an Infernal Soul onto that as well, trying to stand underneath these towers is not going to be a fun time for KOI.
Props to Carzzy for being able to come back into this game, but a lot of that has been set up, as you rightly said, by Chasy and Elyoya, this top side of the map. They weren't quite able to snowball the early game, but the fact that Chasy was able to find his way, or rather, oh, hang on a second.
Trymbi, he's dead.
Right?
Angry Bee, they just stall the respawn. Nisqy?
No, I think actually Nisqy was chain CC'd, and then Trymbi ulted with the turrets, and then he stunned him, and then turrets, and then Nisqy nearly died from a, what, level 12 Heimerdinger?
Fun champion.
Level 12. Why don't people just play this champ mid? I mean, imagine if this champ had resources and gold. It'd be weird, right?
That would be weird. Are you just shilling for the balance team now? You're just trying, just trying to do
no,
what
I'm telling pro players, why don't they just play it mid?
I don't know, man. I don't have a good answer for you. It's a struggle for the Heimer mid mains out there right now. As their champion becomes a support, and the KOI fans, they're feeling okay about game one. Game two looking like a bit of a struggle. Blue side still looking strong. Infernal Soul with a turbo-fed Jayce. Oh, it hits hard. That is just half of Comp's health, but that is level 16. One more of those, and he is dead.
I'm just waiting for the follow-up Bomba from Nisqy as well to finish him off, and here we go. Looking for us.
Bomba. Not going to do a lot there. Szygenda off to the side. If all of KOI's skills hit all 5 members of Mad Lions,
Observers,
they could be in trouble.
If you could just click Chasy for me so I can see the cooldown of when we can expect. There it is.
There it is.
Now we know.
6 seconds.
3 seconds. Here it comes.
Big shock blast.
1.
He's looking for it.
Oh my God! There it is! It's like a truck. There it is. Now with the follow-up, Chasy though could be in trouble. Did he overstages to get that kill? He cannot die. This man just refuses to go down and out. Is Carzzy on the front line, throwing out damage, red and white. He is chucking down shot crumbs, getting a bit of revenge for the early game. As Mad Lions keep it going. Are they going to try to give their Jayce the penta? Looking for the setup.
That's good damage.
Feeding for
That's very good damage.
Carzzy for now just focusing on the towers. He just wants this game to end. Chasy just wants a pentakill, but Mad Lions surely going to win this one. The knockback. Nisqy fishing for it. Will they give him the quadra? Won't even let it go over. Just give one to Carzzy. Mad Lions tying up the series 1-1.
A significantly better job from Mad Lions coming into game number 2. Managing to get control over that mid lane and that top side was crucial. Chasy, an absolute monster into the Ornn in that top lane, making sure he was always hammering away at the turrets, getting these big leads, and those shock blasts in those late game fights. I mean, Trymbi knows all about them.
You can see the hugs coming out from Nisqy onto Carzzy. He couldn't, well, he got stopped at bot lane like the other game.
That was, I mean, it was a story of two strong sides of the map.
Yes.
For KOI, it was the bot lane that was incredibly strong, but I think credit to Mad, because what they did is once they had that strength, they were very fortunate. Their strength was in Vi, a champion with a point-and-click ultimate. Trymbi, they need time to do damage. They need push to set up to poke enemy champions. Elyoya, he didn't need any of that. He could just go in, and he made sure to do so, never giving KOI the chance to set up 5v5s until they were so far ahead that it did not matter.
And great job from Nisqy to kind of disrupt that every time they wanted to go for the 5v5s with the big ultimates coming through. And I love how it's like semi-finals. We're trying to set stakes, and this guy's just dancing over the court. It's like it doesn't matter.
I mean, that's the thing that I think draws people to the Mad Lions oftentimes, is they just never take themselves too seriously, which can be infuriating too. Don't get me wrong. If this was an elimination game and he was dancing, maybe there would be fans that were upset. But he got the win, so you can't be mad at him. In the meantime, let's head over to Ender to check out what he has to break down for us.
All right, Drakos, we're going to be talking about the jungle matchup. Last segment, Broxa broke down how you could beat Malrang's Elise, but then not actually really, so I decided I'll do the same. Trick is, be blue side and make them ban it away for you. But in all seriousness, I think Elyoya had some great plays in this early game to get ahead, and it all starts with this invade he goes for. Now, they had a very early ward in the blue side jungle at the start of the game, so he knows Malrang is pathing up towards the top side. And he's actually going to spot Malrang walking up towards top lane, and he thinks he's going to come in pathing straight behind him, except Malrang turns around. Malrang actually sees him though, and this is where it gets weird, because there's pings on the Raptor camp. You can see that's what Malrang thinks is happening, because there's mid lane prio. He's expecting with the Gragas that Elyoya is just going to steal away his camps. Elyoya is just sitting in this bush though, and he absolutely destroys Malrang. And this is a really big deal, because Malrang getting chunked out this badly, using the cooldown of the W to go over the wall, opens up mid lane completely. Now there's this giant wave here that basically Nisqy's just trying to be a nuisance to deny the farm from coming in, and Larssen's gonna trade his entire mana bar, it's all gone, to get Nisqy low. But now Nisqy can hang out between the turrets. It doesn't matter, because they know there's no jungler. It's so important that they cleared the jungler away in this play, because usually diving mid lane this early can't happen if you don't have perfect info of the enemy jungler. Also, Larssen, 0 mana, and I think Larssen also greeds his flash a little bit here too. He's not stunned when the Q comes in from Elyoya. He could have potentially tried to dodge that. Yes, maybe there's a world where Elyoya is able to Q flash, but that's a little bit unreliable on the Vi. Regardless though, here's where it goes from bad to worse, because Malrang is expecting Elyoya to be in the topside jungle, but he's spotted on this ward right here, headed over towards the Raptor camp. This is also when Nisqy gets the teleport coming back into mid lane, so they have this great ability to pinch down onto the Raptor camp. If you actually zoom out and look at the minimap too, Hylissang's gonna hop straight over the wall as well. It's insane. They're all moving here to try and punish Malrang. It looks like for a second Malrang's going to be able to escape, but Nisqy still has his flash from that mid lane play, is able to finish off and get the kill, with Hylissang just trailing in very closely behind. This was a great look at the start of the game that helped Elyoya get that snowball rolling. He had a super early Black Cleaver and was able to take over a lot of the game, even when things got dicey, with him and Nisqy finding some great engages. To walk you through the rest of that though, we're going to toss it over to my Analyst and Shocks.
Thank you. Broxa, this seems to me like it's a continuation of what they set up in game one, or set up rather the good practice and protocols they have in terms of warding early to spot Malrang, but this time though, not dropping the ball after and making sure that they are in time on the plays.
Yeah, for sure. I think they managed to follow up on it and be really proactive this time, just not giving Malrang a chance to breathe since the first clear, really. Obviously, it was a little bit more difficult for him now, being in the Wukong, more of a scaling champion, but at the same time, really, really impressive setup from the Mad Lions once again.
And honestly, you know, we talk about it so often where Nisqy and Elyoya has been the force of Mad Lions, but again and again, it's not so much they're using it to roam elsewhere on the map, it's just them two literally grouping up and finding who are we gonna kill next, who's our target, and then the team is set up for it as well. And you can even see in a team fight like that, it's completely split. Nisqy and Elyoya is doing their thing on one side of the team fight, getting a few kills, while the rest of Mad Lions are fighting over there. And this one was just beautiful. The pins are maneuver, the vultures just coming in to find their victims, and Comp, you mean, he never stood a chance. I really think that Nisqy and Elyoya, the mid-jungle duo here, really carried this game for Mad Lions.
They were playing together beautifully, and when they do, they really pop off, right? Broxah, do you think that Elyoya is still kind of developing as he goes? I mean, he had such a breakout split when we saw him the first time. What do you think are the things that he does best right now in his career?
I think when you compare Elyoya and Malrang, they're both really amazing players, but the difference is that Malrang does everything himself, whereas Elyoya is so good at bringing his teammates. And obviously it can partly be on their playstyle, communication and whatnot, but I think Malrang could easily do the same thing. But Elyoya, it doesn't matter who's on his lineup. Like every year it's the same. He brings them with him to pressure together as a unit, and once that synergy is on point, when the jungler has all that backup to go for these plays with full freedom, like, this is what happens. He just solo carries games.
And you touched on it shortly as well. I think Malrang specifically on that Wukong is not usually something you would like to see. Wukong is the kind of champion that needs level 6 to really get going. Malrang, traditionally speaking, does most of his stuff in the jungle before he hits that level 6. And that's really the power when 3 junglers gets taken away. In yesterday's series, what really opened up the jungle pool was the fact that they decided to overload the draft, leave more OPs available, which meant that blue side can get an OP, red side can get an OP, and that way you still have something to play for. Could be something that they're looking towards in the future, but for now it wouldn't surprise me, you know, that KOI just takes blue side, right?
Red side strikes again. I also want to praise Chasy a little bit. 1,359 damage per minute on Jayce. Is that then an EU Jayce because he's playing in EU? Yeah, we're going to claim it.
Nah, that's a good. I'm not willing to do that just yet, but you know, 3 Infernal Drakes, a Jayce that does this against Squishies. You never stood a chance when the game reached this point in time, but you know, it's just really a gun show having to pull around when you get an Infernal Soul.
And I think it's worth pointing out that while, you know, Chasy has been going under the radar a little bit this split, he's also part of why Elyoya can play like this every game, because he's always consistent, always pressuring, always doing work, and having a top laner like this is the dream. Like someone who can just sit on his own little island top. You can leave him there the entire early game, everything's gonna be great, and then eventually you have this Jayce one-shotting everyone in late game.
People probably think, why am I going on so much about it? It's because I want to talk about him a lot because he plays great, but then Elyoya and Nisqy pop off and it's just...
He is the #1 Chasy fangirl already.
I just think he's so dependable and he's doing so much work for Mad, and KOI chose red. Just kidding. They chose blue. Would you believe it? We talked about the top of the day, and Ender said, like, oh, it wasn't necessarily all a red side problem yesterday for Mad. They just didn't draft well on the red side. But no matter what the point may have been, it seems to be exactly the same. So can you each give me an action point for the red side now?
I think they need to make sure that, you know, KOI on the blue side don't get a priority jungler, because we're seeing this happen every game now. Like, junglers are clearly very strong in pro play at the moment, and getting the prior jungler just means that early game is near unplayable for the other side, really. So I don't care if they have to ban 3 jungle champions away. I want to see Sejuani, Maokai, Elise, ideally Vi, you know, gone.
Well, that's the problem, because that's 4
talking.
of them, right? So that's why we have the power of blue
That's
side
why I
as
said
well.
ideally the last one. Maybe they get a free bounce.
So I think, like, you can take away the junglers, but my approach would be on red side as well. You leave 2 open, so you at least in that regard can say we traded. We've also seen some people try and do the Gragas into the Elise. We saw them try to do it game 1. It didn't work out. I don't necessarily think it was because of the draft. I think that was a lot of their decision making. So if they wanted to flip that, they had great tracking on Malrang, and you know, they could try and redo it.
They could try it indeed, but we'll see if that happens. All squared now. What have been your main takeaways, and what is your gut telling you in terms of who's going to grow throughout this series and who has to change what in order to win today?
I think that KOI had a more reliable bot lane even in this game. Individually, Comp got so far ahead, and I think just if you just have the better bot lane and KOI gets better tools around playing that bot lane, so like dropping the Wukong, maybe looking back at Jarvan's Malrang, these kind of adaptations, banning away the Gragas like a respect potentially, I think KOI has better tools to take over Mad Lions. But you know, you never know, because they know what they got in the toolkit. I don't, right?
I think it's fun you said, you know, the bot lane did really well, because if that was a solo queue game, I as the jungler would not be too happy about my Varus Heimerdinger. That Varus dealt 0 damage this entire game.
I'm talking the first 14 minutes. 14
I don't care
minutes,
about the 14
he was 2K
minutes.
ahead.
This guy did less damage than his own. I think,
maybe a different AD
And
carry,
Ornn
but
was under-leveled.
I think it's a bit like yesterday. Lucian army, Varus, it's too early game centric. It's not going to work right now. Scaling, that's where it's at.
Yay.
Yeah, just get some scaling, farm for late game. The mid and jungle, they can have fun early, 80 carries. scaling.
Okay, 80 carries don't matter. You heard it here first. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Game 3 between Mad and KOI.
Maybe they can burn through the objective. Elyoya waiting on the backside, his smite up and available, but slowly but surely they are getting cut down. Huge damage from Kong, and Carzzy walks into the hail of arrows.
I'm here, look at these two. I'm gonna insect, I'm gonna go.
Okay. Look, Varus. Okay.
Oh.
Take that. Nice.
Big shock blast.
1.
He's looking for it.
Oh my God!
There it is!